Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining us today because we're jumping straight into a massive frustration that pretty much every single language learner hits at some point. You know the exact feeling, right? You can read English perfectly, you've got the grammar rules totally memorized, your vocabulary is huge. But the second you actually have to speak in a real conversation, boom, you freeze. It's like this invisible wall just drops down between your brain and your mouth. Well, today, we're going to tear that wall down and finally bridge that gap from just knowing English to actually confidently speaking it. So first things first, we have to figure out why this actually happens. Like, why does your mind go completely blank when you try to speak English? You could literally spend years studying vocab lists, translating textbooks flawlessly, but the second you step up to a hotel desk to check in, or you sit down for a job interview, you just draw a total blank. The words just vanish. It's a huge pain point. But look, I promise you, it's not a lack of knowledge on your part, not at all. It's actually just a lack of the right kind of practice. Okay, let's dive right in. Here's our masterclass toolkit for conquering that language anxiety today. We're going to cover 1. The speaking freeze, 2. Activation and shadowing, 3. Mastering real-life scenarios, 4. The power of AI, and finally, number 5, a 30-day challenge to get you moving. Let's do this. All right, starting off with part 1, the speaking freeze, and exactly why we lock up. The core issue here really boils down to the difference between passive learning and active recall. See, passive learning is what most of us do in school, right? Silent reading, watching videos, memorizing grammar rules, which is super valuable, sure, but it's passive. On the flip side, active recall is your ability to pull a word out of your brain under pressure, in real time. The hard truth is that fluency lives in your mouth, not your eyes. So when you freeze, it's just because your brain is trained for passive recognition, not for active, physical speech under the slight pressure of an actual conversation. Which brings us to part 2, activation and shadowing, or basically how we fix the freeze. So a really good role play actually forces 3 critical things to happen in your brain all at the same time. First up is activation. This is taking that vocabulary you've only ever seen on a page and forcing yourself to recall it actively. Second is sequencing. Real conversations have a pretty predictable order, you know? A greeting, a request, a confirmation. Role-playing trains your brain on this sequence so you don't just freeze halfway through an interaction. And third, and honestly this might be the absolute most important one, is repair. When you mess up, and you definitely will, you have to practice fixing it mid-sentence. Native speakers do this constantly without even realizing it, but learners almost never train for it. This is exactly why simulating standard face-to-face interactions, like practicing a basic greeting, is so essential. By actually physically standing up and speaking both sides of a simple greeting out loud, you're actively training your brain's conversational sequence. You're building up that muscle memory. So when a real person eventually says hello to you, your response is totally automatic. It's not something you have to silently translate in your head for 10 awkward seconds. Now, alongside roleplay, there's this amazing technique called shadowing. Shadowing is simply listening to basic, everyday sentences, like stuff about your daily routine, and repeating them out loud right after you hear them. It's literally about building physical muscle memory in your mouth and jaw. And the real secret sauce here, consistency. Coming back and practicing daily, even if it's just for like 5 minutes, slowly builds up your confidence, step by step, until the language just feels completely natural to you. Moving right along to part 3, mastering real-life scenarios and applying all this theory. When we get into real-world scenarios, these little tiny tweaks make a massive difference in how people perceive you. Take this for example. Grammatically, saying "I want a burger" at a restaurant is totally fine. But to a native speaker, it sounds kind of demanding, almost like a kid ordering. Just shifting that to "I'd like a burger" or "could I have" instantly makes you sound natural and polite. Or say you're checking into a hotel. Leaving out the article and saying "I have reservation" is such a classic trap. It's "I have a reservation." Another really huge one, especially in job interviews, is jumping between past, present, and future tenses all in a single sentence. Keeping your tenses consistent makes you sound so much more confident and certain of your own experiences. But in real scenarios, think networking events or job interviews, perfect grammar just isn't enough. You really need 2 things: a purpose line and personal rapport. A purpose line just explains why you're there, like "I'm hoping to explore collaboration opportunities." It completely prevents those awkward silences. And personal rapport is just sharing a small, relatable detail about yourself. Maybe you mention that outside of work you really enjoy trail running or sustainable cooking. It shows your values and gives people something human to connect with. I absolutely love this quote from a Preply learner. They said, if I can tell jokes, it's because I have made very good progress. This just brilliantly hits the nail on the head for what we're striving for here. Real progress in a language is measured by human connection, making someone laugh, sharing a story, feeling understood. It's not just about having 100% perfect grammar all the time. All right, part 4, the power of AI. Let's talk about solo practice. Tools like ChatGPT's voice feature or apps like Practice Me are absolute game changers for this. An AI tutor can take on literally any role you need. It can be a tough job interviewer, a super friendly barista, a hotel clerk, and they don't follow some rigid, boring script. The conversation can go anywhere. Plus, they're available 24/7. But honestly, the absolute best part? It completely eliminates the social pressure and the anxiety of making a mistake in front of a real human being. It is 100% judgment-free. On top of that, AI gives you instant, highly targeted feedback that, let's be real, a polite stranger would probably never point out to you. Like, if you're practicing describing your daily routine, the AI might give you a note saying, hey, don't use the word I repetitively. You can then take that exact feedback, mentally note it, and repeat the corrected version out loud right then and there to fix the bad habit. It is literally like having a private coach right in your pocket. And finally, part 5, your 30-day challenge. Time to put this all into action. Now, right before I give you your homework, I really want you to internalize this major mindset shift from the Built America Challenge. Let go of perfection and just keep talking. The absolute biggest mistake you can possibly make is letting the fear of tiny grammar errors stop you from speaking in the first place. Seriously, you have got to let go of needing to be perfect. So here is your exact day 1 homework. First, step out of your comfort zone and speak out loud in English for just 5 minutes today. That's it, 5 minutes. Second, practice introducing yourself. Try using that personal rapport we talked about. Maybe mention a hobby or something you love doing. And third, completely ignore any mistakes you make. Do not stop to correct yourself. Just keep the natural flow of the conversation going. I want to leave you with this direct question. Can you speak English out loud for just 5 minutes today? Think about it. You can't learn to ride a bicycle just by listening to an explainer about bicycles, right? Eventually, you've just got to get on and start pedaling. So take action today, use these tools, and start speaking. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.